I made a video on whether or not Sasuke had ever lost a fight, and in that video, there was a comment about Naruto never killing anyone. This sparked some debate in the comments, and aside from some obvious misconceptions I'll clear up during the video, the comments got me thinking this offhand comment was at least worth a somewhat in-depth discussion. Before I get started, let me just say that I don't believe Naruto has some sort of no-kill rule like Batman. That was not what the comment was meant to imply. I was only implying that Naruto himself had never actually put someone in the ground permanently. So if you think Naruto intended to kill someone with a specific attack that didn't land or whatever, I have no issue with that. I just don't think he ever did the act of killing someone. With that being said, today I'm going to go over every instance of this happening, and that'll be that. Subscribe, by the way. I'm only a few subscribers away from 1 million. And I want this video to hit 500,000 likes, and obviously that is possible. First, let's talk about Naruto's confirmed bodies. These are the people or things that Naruto directly put down as a result of his own actions. Then we'll move on to the more controversial sections, but just letting you know, every single thing I say here is going to be controversial, so bear with me. Kaguya is a confirmed body on Naruto's record. I know someone would think that Kaguya isn't dead and she's just sealed away, but that isn't the case. We actually watch Kaguya die on screen in the anime and manga. Naruto and Sasuke close the seal on her, and while the seal is closing, we see Kaguya turn back into the 10 tails and then split into the 9 different Biju. And a bit after this, we see Kaguya spit out Madara, who was literally the vessel by which she was able to come back to life. Without that vessel, she is no longer alive. For those of you who don't know why the 10 tails is relevant here, it's because Kaguya is the 10 tails. At least her consciousness is merged with it. A long time ago, before fighting Hagoromo and Hamura, which is another misconception, Hagoromo and Hamura, at least when it comes to the manga continuity, never fought Kaguya herself. They only fought with the 10 tails. Not once is it stated they fought Kaguya, or is there any material showing that they fought Kaguya. It is literally only the 10 tails that they fought, which was fused with Kaguya at that point. They never fought her directly, that's all I'm saying. With this being the case and what we see on panel, obviously that makes Kaguya a confirmed body for Naruto. Naruto's next confirmed bodies might genuinely turn him into a serial killer depending on how you view them, and that is the White Zetsu. Now, Zetsu aren't people. At least they aren't anymore, but they are sentient life forms with at least some human DNA. What is not up for debate is whether or not Naruto body bagged these guys. I could present a mountain of evidence for this case that would cause any judge to sentence Naruto to multiple life sentences. The point at large here is whether or not to consider these things people. I honestly would say, sure, you can consider them as people. I think it makes the most sense just because they're humanoid and clearly don't want to be killed. They have complex thought patterns, emotions, different personalities, if you throw in Guru Zetsu anyway, and they are capable of using human language. Most of these qualities you value human life for in the first place, and it's more likely that if something lacks those specific qualities that you wouldn't value its life as much. Think of an insect or something that you step on, who cares? However, I'm not really sure Naruto views it this way. After passing the 4th Raikage and being permitted to enter the war, Naruto is given a small debrief by Shikaku Nara, wherein Shikaku mentions to Naruto that Madara is apparently immortal, plants are masquerading as people by using the first Hokage's cells, and the risen dead can only be stopped by being sealed. Naruto responds to this by saying that that's the best news he could have received because that means he doesn't have to hold back here. So it's entirely likely that Naruto probably just views the Zetsu as plants and not actually people, which I'm not trying to make a moral statement here. Obviously, not viewing people as people doesn't justify you in killing them. But remember, I said I don't think Naruto has a no-kill rule either. Basically, this doesn't stem from morality or something. I just don't think Naruto himself views the Zetsu as people and probably thinks they are these sentient plants instead. While I don't think Naruto has a no-kill rule, I think his statement here is implicative of the fact that he will hold back normally in order to not kill people intentionally, since he says in response to fighting an immortal army that it's good because he doesn't have to hold back. Let me elaborate on the no-kill rule just a bit more before going forward. A no-kill rule is pretty self-explanatory. It means that you will not kill under any circumstance. I think that Naruto, like most hero-type characters, simply don't want to kill, but can be pushed to the point where he will at least try to. Goku didn't want to kill Raditz, but he kind of had to since Raditz had already shown that he wasn't going to leave peacefully. Same with Frieza, so on and so forth, you get the idea. Now, let's talk about one that actually isn't Naruto's fault, that being this Jonin, Yura from the Sand Village. Naruto did not kill this guy. Pain's jutsu that artificially recreates someone a perfect copy of them, that being Itachi and Kisame, uses living sacrifices in order to carry the jutsu out. All explained on this databook page that I'll leave on screen. Chakra makes a sacrifice play out on one's life as a powerful ninja. Pain allocates a portion of the chakra of Akatsuki members to his target, creating an ingenious duplicate of that member with which to do battle. The abilities of the duplicate are proportional to the amount of chakra allocated to it, and it can use the abilities of the original person. However, when the chakra runs out, the jutsu is cancelled and the target dies. So while Naruto more than likely meant to kill the Itachi that was in front of him, and this other guy ended up on the floor, Naruto did not kill that guy. That was Pain. Now let's talk about one that's a bit more controversial. Kakuzu I don't think counts as a body for Naruto, and that's just because Naruto actually just didn't directly kill him. Now, you could throw a ton of analogies at this situation, and it would be disingenuous of me to say Naruto didn't at the very least play a role in Kakuzu's death. However, I think this is distinctly different from the Kaguya or Zetsu situations, and we all have to agree on just that much. In those cases, a jutsu, or in some instances a punch or a kick, directly from Naruto put those people away permanently. But in the case of Kakuzu, Naruto did hit him with the Rasen Shuriken and he messed him up badly, but Kakashi delivered the final blow that put Kakuzu's lights out. Now keep in mind, this isn't to absolve Naruto of some type of crime. I'm no lawyer. I'm just saying that Naruto did not kill Kakuzu and that Kakashi was the one to do it. I only even mention this one because a lot of people think Naruto actually did kill Kakuzu, which I mean, when you look at it, it kinda does look like Naruto flatlined him there, but let's back up and look a bit more closely at the situation. This is Naruto's first time using the Rasen Shuriken, and there is no possible way that he knows the effects of this jutsu yet. Even with the Sharingan, Kakashi could barely keep up with the number of attacks that were launched by the Rasen Shuriken and the effects of the jutsu, wherein your chakra network is severed by the needles, was also found by Tsunade on Naruto's arm. So basically, Naruto managed to turn the Rasengan into a Rasen Shuriken, and all he knows is that he's got a bigger, super powerful jutsu that he's now going to throw at Kakuzu. So a TLDR of this section is that Naruto played a major role in Kakuzu's death by literally crippling him so Kakashi could finish him off, but it's not the case that Naruto actually killed Kakuzu. The blame for that is on Kakashi. I'm surprised there's no conversation about Naruto killing Madara. Maybe it's because it was mostly a group effort. This situation is like a mix of both the Kakuzu situations and the Kaguya situations, where Naruto does indeed play a huge part in the fact that Madara ended up dying, but it'd be a little weird to say Naruto outright killed him. But I think it's only fair if you conclude that Naruto killed Madara, and realistically, Madara put himself in a position that he has to be killed in order to be taken down, by making himself the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. The only potential defense you could mount for this is the Geto statue remaining inside of the body post-extraction of the Ten Tails, but that wasn't the case for Madara, who had been turned into Kaguya. We see the Biju leave the Geto statue, but at the same time, the Geto statue is what was sealed away by Naruto and Sasuke's planetary devastation, while whatever this is, the rabbit goddess, spirit, whatever, spits out Madara and he falls to the floor. The elements of Kaguya's death that this incorporates are extremely obvious. The kills are one and the same, but it's similar to the Kakuzu death because Naruto didn't directly do the thing that put Madara down permanently. In some aspects, you could argue that Zetsu is the one who killed Madara by turning him into Kaguya, since when all is said and done, it's not like we see the 10 tails extracted from Madara similar to what we saw from Obito. We saw the 10 tails or Kaguya spit Madara's body out after everything was over. I wonder why this even happened in the first place. Like, why did Kaguya spit out Madara? It's not like she cared about saving him or anything, but that's whatever. Obito can be spoken about in virtually the same regard, but to be fair to Obito, Obito went through several things that should have killed him, so let's briefly go over all of those. The first thing that should have ended him, realistically speaking, was having his heart blown out by Kakashi's Raikiri, but he has Hashirama cells, so we can ignore that. The second thing is the fact that he was a Jinchuriki and had all of his Biju ripped out of him. This has killed numerous people in the show. It almost killed Naruto. It was killing Kushina actively. The Akatsuki literally farmed Jinchuriki kills this way. Gaara died when Shikaku was extracted. Yugito died when the 2 tails was extracted. Roshi died when the 4 tails was extracted. Han died when the 5 tails was extracted. Utakata died whenever that big slug was extracted, and Fu died when the 7 tails were extracted. They all met their end in the same way during the Akatsuki's mission to retrieve the 10 tails. Killer B almost died like this twice, but both times he managed to escape death by using Gyuki's tail in some way, shape, or form. In Sasuke's case, he used the transformation jutsu on the severed limb of Gyuki to fool the Akatsuki, and in the case of Madara, he was gathering all the Biju. He managed to stay inside of a severed limb and keep a piece of Gyuki within himself so that he didn't die. That same thing was true for Obito. After having 9 Biju extracted from him, Obito didn't die, and Kurama explained that it's because of the fact that the Geto statue remained inside and it contains a lot of life force. This makes sense, as we know the Geto statue was the only thing keeping Madara alive whenever he was grooming Obito into becoming a super terrorist. Another unique fact about the 10 tails Jinchuriki is due to the amount of energy that is drained when extracting the 10 tails, they aren't able to or shouldn't be able to move for several months. This doesn't exempt them from the rule, however. Since he was a 10 tails Jinchuriki, Obito will now die, since he had his Biju extracted. While on the ground, however, Zetsu takes over Obito's body and uses Rene Rebirth on Madara, which is yet another technique that will kill you. Granted, this move might not be certain death. Conan implies that Nagato was only going to die from the technique due to his current level of chakra, and while Obito did die later on this day, he kind of experienced like 3 or 4 life-ending events. Nonetheless, I think it can be argued that Obito would have died from the use of Rene Rebirth here as well, similar to Nagato, because he's so drained of energy. He can't even physically stand up. So just stack that on top of the fact that he lost the 10 tails, and the last thing to add on here, he gets the Geto statue literally ripped out of his body, which, if you remember it up till now, was the literal life battery pack that was keeping Obito alive post him being a Jinchuriki. And now he has Black Zetsu attached to him doing the same thing. So by my count, like I just mentioned earlier, Obito effectively died 4 times on this day, and only one of which Naruto had a partial hand in. I don't really count this one. It's also Kaguya kinda landed the final blow, so throw all the blame onto her. Continuing on with the theme of deaths Naruto didn't directly cause, I have 2 more people, and I don't exactly know what to call this duo, but Naruto kind of convinced them to die. Not in the way that he talked them into their deaths, but his words inspired them to take a leap that led them to a certain death, that being both Nagato and Zabuza. Zabuza is the easier one to go over, so we'll just talk about him first. It's hard to argue that Zabuza wouldn't have just died anyway. Kakashi had no interest in taking him back to the village for questioning, clearly, as he was going to shove a Raikiri through his chest. And even if he did, it's not like it's really needed in Naruto, since in this universe, corpses still contain valuable information to shinobi villages. Pain is a good example of that. With that being said, obviously Naruto doesn't directly kill Zabuza, but he is directly responsible for the death that he had through his words. And in reality, making Zabuza acknowledge feelings he already had. So while Naruto is responsible for the death of Zabuza, it's in a positive way, since it's far better than the death he would have otherwise gotten. Zabuza even attributes his defeat to Naruto himself when he's reanimated, saying he must be famous because of that victory. And Kakashi says that Naruto is able to develop his shinobi way because of fighting them, and lets them know he's become quite a splendid shinobi. Zabuza was also satisfied with his death. Of all the shinobi who were happy to come back and get their second chance at life, Zabuza wanted to be stopped by any means because he died human and not as the demon of the mist. After hearing that, you should be able to tell where I'm going with the Nagato example, since Naruto made Nagato believe in him and therefore sacrifice himself, and then all of the people of Konoha who had lost their life was able to come back to life, except Jiraiya.